Many men believe that masturbation after 50 can be a solution to keeping their sex life active, but they don't always realize the impact this habit can have on desire, performance, and overall health. Problem is not the act itself, but the effect it can have on the body over time. Without noticing, many condition their brain to a type of pleasure that doesn't translate into a real relationship. This can lead to a gradual loss of interest in sex and even difficulty getting aroused with a partner. Moreover, when masturbation becomes frequent and is associated with pornography consumption, intense stimuli create unrealistic expectations, making physical intimacy feel less engaging. Additionally, there is a direct relationship between this habit and the risk of erectile dysfunction, ejaculation disorders, and decreased libido. All of this can affect self-confidence and the quality of relationships. I am Laura Rossi, a urologist, and today I will show you the effects of this habit and how it can either help or harm your sexual health. There are benefits that many people are unaware of, but also risks that need to be considered. Before continuing, check if you are already subscribed to the channel to receive more tips on health and sexual education. If this topic is important to you, like the video and participate in the comments. Type 1 if you agree with the content or 0 if you have suggestions. Your interaction helps bring even more relevant information. As the years pass, the body undergoes changes that directly affect sexual health. Testosterone production decreases, impacting energy and desire. Blood circulation also changes, influencing the quality of erections. With reduced blood flow, the body's response to sexual stimuli may not be as intense as before. Many men, noticing these changes, turn to masturbation as a way to maintain sexual activity. Problem begins when this habit becomes the primary source of pleasure, pushing real relationships aside. The brain adapts to a type of stimulation that doesn't require interaction, contact, or variation. The intensity of masturbation is different from that of sexual intercourse, and this contrast can lead to reduced desire and even difficulty getting aroused with a partner. This doesn't mean that masturbation should be eliminated, but it is essential to observe one's habits. When practiced without balance, it can reinforce patterns that make sexual performance more difficult and reduce the chances of a satisfying intimate life in maturity. Rediscover pleasure and strengthen your relationship. In the digital book Rediscovering Intimacy, Healthy Sexuality After 60, you will find practical tips to reignite desire, overcome challenges, and create a deeper connection. Click the link in the first pinned comment and see how small changes can transform your love life. Frequent masturbation can alter the body's response to pleasure, directly affecting the ability to achieve and maintain an erection. Problem is not the act itself, but how it is performed. Many men develop a pattern of stimulation that does not resemble what happens in a real sexual encounter, creating a mismatch between what the brain expects and what actually happens in intimacy. This can lead to difficulty maintaining an erection during physical contact or even a lack of response to real stimulation. Ejaculation disorders are also a reflection of this adaptation in the body. Premature ejaculation can become more frequent when masturbation is rushed, uncontrolled, or lacks variation in stimulation. On the other hand, delayed ejaculation or even the inability to reach orgasm can arise when the body becomes accustomed to a specific type of pressure or rhythm that cannot be replicated in a real encounter. The brain learns to reach pleasure in a particular way, and when the situation changes, the sexual response can be compromised. Over time, this can lead to frustration and even insecurity in relationships. The repetition of solitary stimuli can directly affect sexual desire, making real interactions less appealing. The brain functions based on associations, and when it becomes accustomed to a specific form of pleasure, it prioritizes it. This means that if masturbation becomes the main source of satisfaction, interest in partnered sex may decrease. The response to another person's touch, scent, eye contact, and even emotional connection may lose intensity simply because the brain's reward system is more accustomed to the quick and predictable pleasure of masturbation. Another important aspect is the relationship between fantasy and reality. Many men condition their pleasure to pornography or a very specific type of mental stimulation during masturbation. Over time, this can make arousal in real situations more difficult where variables are different and unpredictable. If the brain learns that pleasure depends on certain triggers, it may start ignoring natural stimuli, making the sexual response increasingly selective. This can lead to a decrease in the frequency of sexual encounters and even a gradual loss of desire, creating a difficult cycle to break. Excessive pornography consumption can alter the way the brain reacts to pleasure, creating a need for increasingly intense stimuli to achieve arousal. Unlike a real relationship where there is exchange, contact, and unpredictability, pornography offers immediate pleasure without emotional or physical effort. This makes the brain-conditioned desire to images and artificial scenes, reducing responsiveness to touch and the presence of a partner. Additionally, pornography can distort expectations about sex. Videos are edited to appear intense, prolonged, and always satisfying, which rarely reflects reality. Men who frequently watch pornography may develop unrealistic perceptions of their own performance or that of their partner, leading to anxiety and frustration. Over time, this can result in a gradual disinterest in real sex since it doesn't provide the same quick and exaggerated triggers as pornography. Another common effect is the need to seek increasingly stimulating content. What was once exciting may lose its appeal, further decreasing interest in real experiences. This cycle can make intimacy less engaging and, in some cases, even compromise sexual response. The idea that frequent ejaculation reduces the risk of prostate cancer has become popular, but the reality is more complex. Some studies suggest that maintaining an active sex life can bring benefits to prostate health, but this does not mean that masturbation alone has a proven preventive effect. Many of these studies are observational, meaning they do not prove that ejaculation frequency is the direct cause of a lower risk of the disease. Another common misconception is believing that any form of stimulation provides the same benefits. Sex involving hormone exchange, emotional connection, and other physiological responses can have positive effects that are different from those generated by solitary masturbation. Moreover, factors such as diet, physical activity, and metabolic health play a much greater role in preventing prostate cancer than the mere frequency of ejaculation. Another myth is the idea that avoiding masturbation would be harmful to the prostate, as if there were a dangerous buildup of sperm. The body has its own mechanisms to eliminate semen when necessary, so there is no risk of an internal explosion if a man goes for a period without ejaculating. The frequency and way masturbation is practiced can directly influence emotional and psychological well-being. When it becomes excessive, often linked to pornography consumption, it can create a cycle of compulsion. The man feels temporary relief, but soon the need to repeat arises, leading to frustration and even guilt. This repetition can lower dopamine levels, the neurotransmitter responsible for pleasure, making it harder to feel satisfaction from everyday activities. Additionally, when masturbation replaces other forms of emotional relief, such as social interactions and meaningful relationships, it can lead to progressive isolation. The time spent on this habit can interfere with productivity, sleep, and even family interactions, creating a disconnect from the surrounding reality. In more severe cases, it can worsen anxiety and depression, as immediate pleasure becomes an escape without addressing underlying problems. Another possible effect is increased sensitivity to stress. The brain becomes accustomed to seeking quick and predictable pleasure, making frustration harder to manage. This can make everyday challenges seem more overwhelming simply because the mind is conditioned to expect instant rewards, reducing emotional resilience. When masturbation starts replacing real sexual activity, the body adapts to a routine of solitary pleasure, reducing the motivation to seek real interaction. The convenience of the habit, without the need for emotional involvement or physical effort, can lead to complacency. The man becomes used to a controlled stimulus at his own pace without having to deal with timing and a partner's reactions. This pattern can decrease motivation for real relationships, making sex less frequent and even uninteresting. Another factor is neurological adaptation. The brain associates pleasure with solitary stimulation, and when the time comes for interaction with another person, the response may not be the same. Arousal may take longer to appear, erections may not be as firm, or pleasure may not have the same intensity. As a result, partnered sex may become less satisfying and, over time, even avoided. Additionally, there is an impact on self-esteem. If a man notices that he no longer feels the same desire or does not perform as well with a partner, he may develop insecurity. This can create a cycle where he avoids real relationships to escape frustration, keeping himself trapped in the solitary habit. Maintaining an active and satisfying sex life after 50 does not depend solely on masturbation or sex itself, but on a combination of habits that directly influence performance and desire. Physical exercise, for example, improves blood circulation, strengthens pelvic muscles, and increases the production of essential hormones for libido. Activities like walking, weight training, and Kegel exercises can make a significant difference. Nutrition also plays a crucial role. Consuming foods rich in zinc, magnesium, and healthy fats helps maintain proper testosterone levels. Fish, eggs, nuts, and dark leafy vegetables are excellent allies in this process. Additionally, maintaining quality sleep is essential. Sleep deprivation reduces hormone production and increases stress, directly affecting desire and sexual performance. Another important factor is mental stimulation. Seeking new experiences, strengthening emotional bonds, and investing in relationship communication are key elements that influence pleasure and arousal. Therapies focused on sexual health and techniques such as pelvic physiotherapy can also be effective alternatives to prevent performance issues and maintain an active, intimate life. Masturbation after 50 can be both helpful and harmful, depending on frequency, the way it is practiced, and its impact on sexual health. The issue is not the habit itself, but the effects it can have on desire, performance, and even self-esteem. Many men notice changes in their body's response, whether in arousal, erection quality, or intimacy, without realizing that repeated stimulation might be directly influencing these transformations. The brain adapts to the stimuli it receives most frequently, and when this happens in an uncontrolled way, pleasure can become harder to achieve in a real relationship. Pornography use also intensifies this effect, creating unrealistic expectations and making sex less engaging. The impact of masturbation on desire and performance varies from person to person, but balance is always the most important factor. Have you noticed any changes in your desire or sexual response over time? Share your experience in the comments. And before you go, remember to like this video. Your support is essential to help this content reach more people and to keep the channel providing valuable information about men's health. There are already other videos on the channel diving deeper into this topic, with tips on improving performance, preventing erectile dysfunction, and maintaining high libido. Watch them and keep yourself informed. And if you're not yet subscribed, take this opportunity to do so and stay updated with upcoming content. See you in the next video.